Hey friends, welcome back to the Profit Share podcast, where we talk about how to help you go and build amazing passive income inside of KW. And we are getting close. We still have, I think, this episode and one more before we are at the conclusion of the series that we've been going through, which is the narration of our book, The Profit Share Advantage, that Linda and I wrote, really around helping people inside of KW unlock passive income through profit share. And we're excited because in this today's podcast episode, we're going to cover chapter 6, 7, and 8. It's going to be how you properly do a handoff of a recruiting relationship to a market center, which is critical to your success. We're going to cover the final thoughts of where Linda and I really wrap up the book. And then also we do have, it's actually not in the book, we call it our bonus chapter. We do link to where you can get it, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But you don't want to miss the bonus chapter where we've, since writing the books, found some really cool ways that you can also be able to win big in generating income and doing this opportunity at a high level. So with that being said, a couple things I want to share. As a reminder, if you haven't gotten the book yet, will you please go to Amazon? There'll be a link in the description, and get a copy of the Profit Share Advantage book. And my ask, Linda and I's ask, is that you'll get 2 copies, one for you and one for someone in KW, that you can please give to them as a gift, the beautiful gift of profit share and passive income. The next thing is, if you have not yet signed up for a Profit Share site account within our system. So again, the book covers how Nick did what he did, the tool that we've developed, and how people are having success with it. So if you've not yet taken advantage of that, I'd encourage you to go get an account and start test driving it for yourself, right? Don't wait any longer to take advantage of Profit Share. All right, with that being said, enjoy chapters 6, 7, and 8, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts as we get close to wrapping up the book.
Welcome to the Profit Share Podcast with your hosts, Linda and Press McKissick.
Hi, I'm Andy Fenstermaker, and I oversee client support, client management, and the overall Profit Share community around Profit Share sites and Market Center sites. Today, we're covering chapters 6 through 8 of the Profit Share Advantage by Press McKissick. Chapter 6, Referring Recruits to Market Centers. The relationship with the market center leader who's going to work with your recruit is as important as the relationship with the actual recruit. Those who are using this system and strategy to consistently sponsor agents in each month into the company understand the power of that statement. It's a core fundamental truth we teach when it comes to successfully referring recruits to local KW offices. The better relationship we develop with the person who will meet with our recruit, the higher our likelihood is that the recruit will name us as their sponsor. In this chapter, we are going to walk through what we call our Market Center Handoff framework to properly refer a recruit to a KW Market Center. Connect with KW leadership. The very first step is to pick up the phone and call the local KW leader who will be working directly with your recruit. Notice I said call, not email, not text, no carrier pigeon. Pick up the phone and make direct contact with the right KW leader, because it's critical to establishing that you are a real person trying to help someone join the company. Remember, in sales and in communication, you should always gravitate to the highest form of communication. With this process, I believe a phone call is the right and most efficient form of communication with local KW leadership. Unless your recruit is local to you, then you could move to face-to-face. I recommend you start by calling the main KW office phone number and let them know that you have a recruit looking to join their office. It will be helpful to establish if you are referring a new agent or an already licensed agent in production, as this may change which market center leader directly works with your recruit. Traditionally, a team leader is going to work with all licensed agents, and another market center leader might work with all of the brand new agents or those just getting licensed. On this initial phone call, you are looking for 2 things: who is going to be meeting with your recruit and their contact information. This allows you to call and communicate with them directly throughout the process of meeting and onboarding your recruit. Once you have the right Market Center leader's contact information, give them a call. If they don't answer, leave them a message that you have a recruit for them and to please call you back. I would never leave the recruit's contact information in a voicemail, and I would not recommend you just text the leader either. Remember, you are working to develop a relationship with that leader just as you have with the recruit, which is best done over the phone. Once you connect with the Market Center leader who will be meeting with your recruit, give them some details of your conversation and let them know that the recruit is ready to meet, is expecting their call, and you will make an introduction between them first. This part is key. Make sure that you ask that they input the recruit into their Market Center command, or if they have Market Center sites, they can input it there. And add you as the referrer so you can be notified of where the recruit is in the process of joining their office. Thanks to the investments from KW into the Market Center version of Command, or if you are the referrer on a recruit, you will get notifications when a recruit moves through the pipeline stages until they join the company. This is an incredibly helpful reminder to you in the key moments to reach back out to both the recruit and the Market Center leader. Additionally, I recommend that you let the Market Center leader know that you are excited to introduce them to your recruit and sponsor that recruit into the company. It's a subtle way of reminding the Market Center leader that you are doing this both to help people and to build your downline. A great Market Center leader will hear this and be excited to help you grow both your downline and their office. There is nothing we love more than hearing feedback from KW leadership who absolutely love the people in our Profit Share Sites program because they are constantly feeding them recruits who are ready to meet. Make the introduction. Once you have established the connection with the KW leader who will be directly working with your recruit, it's time to make the introduction. We teach our members to connect the recruit and the leader through a group text message that reads something like this. Hey, recruit name, I wanted to introduce you to KW Market Center leader name at KW Market Center name. We had a great discussion today about you and your real estate journey. KW leader is excited to connect with you and set up a time for both of you to meet. Recruit name. I will touch base after the two of you meet in the next few days to see how it went and check in on your progress. Thanks. Stepping out of the book for a second, I always include some additional information. I will sign it with my name, full first name and last name, and what Market Center I'm with and the Market Center number, just to make it a little bit easier for that Market Center leader to log my official KW sponsorship information. All right, we have found that a group text is a lot like introducing two friends at a party. A group text does three things. One, it increases the likelihood that the KW leader will remember to contact your recruit. Two, it increases the likelihood your recruit will follow through in connecting with the leader. Number three, it gives you visibility into when they both are going to meet, so you know when to follow up afterwards. This process has proven time and time again to be an effective way to make a three-way introduction with a recruit and local KW leadership. Plus, you have that written track record of that introduction happening. Follow up after the meeting. After your recruit meets with the Market Center leader, call your recruit to find out how the meeting went and what their next step is. If the meeting went well, they will have started the onboarding process or will have a set upcoming date to do so. If the meeting did not go well, they will likely dodge your call or not have a clear next step with the KW Market Center. It's always a great idea to ask for their honest feedback if they aren't ready to fully commit to KW at this point. Here are a few great follow-up questions to uncover what's holding them back from joining. What's missing for you to commit 100% to KW? What's holding you back from feeling like KW is the right choice to launch your real estate career? What would you need to see from KW in order to feel confident in your decision to launch your career here? Can I ask for your honest feedback on the meeting that you had? What do you feel was missing to decide KW is the right company to choose? As you can see, these questions are designed for you to uncover what's missing for them to fully commit. You can then follow up their answers with another question. Thanks for sharing that feedback with me. Just to make sure I'm clear, what you said was holding you back from joining KW was, and then you would insert what they said was holding them back right here. Is that right? Did I miss anything important? Great. Let me connect with the KW leader and have them reach back out to specifically address these items. Does that work for you? After you get their commitment, contact the KW leader, give them the feedback, and ask them to please reach back out to address the missing items and solutions KW has to alleviate their concerns. Understand that in most cases, the first meeting will have gone smoothly and they will be ready to join. Confirm sponsorship. Once your recruit has committed to joining the KW Market Center, they will complete their onboarding process, which includes the binding sponsorship agreement. This is where the recruit will name their sponsor into the company. Now, as a reminder, if you are listed as the referring associate of the recruit inside the Market Center's command pipeline, you will be notified when they join the company. This is your cue to start checking out your profit share report over the next 30 days to determine if indeed the recruit put your name down. You can also connect with the Market Center leader who met with the recruit or the Market Center administrator to find out if you were listed as the sponsor or if they named someone else. Remember, sponsorship is not a perfect process. It includes humans, which can create moments of error or mistakes. The good news, in many cases of sponsorship error, our culture shines through and the errors are corrected. In the case of a sponsorship error, you have 90 days to correct the error within the system as of the time of this recording. There is a fundamental truth that you need to make peace with if you're going to do this process successfully. Follow this strategy long enough and you will lose some recruits who decide to pick someone else as their sponsor. Remember, sponsorship is the recruit's choice and they have the right to pick someone other than you. In your real estate business, you will not get every client you meet with in the same way that you will not get every recruit through this process. This is why following this strategy and focusing on building a connection and adding real value to a recruit can make a big difference in your results. Now, with that being said, it needs to be addressed that there is an exception to the truth that sponsorship is a choice. If you are the reason that that recruit is introduced to that Market Center leadership and that recruit names the Market Center leader as their sponsor, leadership is ethically bound per our policies and guidelines manual to honor that referral. Here is the exact wording in the P&G manual at the time of writing this book and recording this episode. Choosing a sponsor is a very important decision that you must consider wisely, since the person you choose will be your sponsor for life. The profit share system and growth sharing program were implemented to reward Keller Williams Realty associates and employees for helping build the company by attracting additional talented and productive members. The spirit of the system is that your sponsor is that person whom you feel is primarily responsible for bringing you to Keller Williams Realty. In fact, it may or may not be the first or last person you talk to about joining. You may, over time, have met with many people in the company. Your sponsor should be the person most instrumental in bringing you to serious discussions with Market Center leadership about joining that Market Center. While you may initially consider one of the following leaders as your sponsor because they made personal contact with you, that leader is ethically bound to honor leads given to them by other Keller Williams Realty family members by ensuring you name the person most instrumental in facilitating your meeting with them. In most cases where the recruit names a Market Center leader, the leadership team is unaware and quickly moves to correct the error. That is great leadership, and KW is known for hiring amazing people who understand the value of following our WI4 C2 TEs and honoring referrals. On occasion, I will see someone in our program who found out that their recruit named a Market Center leader as their sponsor, and the response from that leader is, "It's the recruit's choice." That response is wrong, and you should communicate with the market center leader and their operating principal to have it addressed. It's important that we handle these situations with respect and care as we all strive to honor our culture of abundance. For market center leaders, here's how we teach them to handle situations where an agent puts their name down as a sponsor. We recommend the market center leader sit down with the recruit and use this modeled conversation. Hey, recruit name, as we were reviewing your onboarding paperwork, we noticed that you put me down as your sponsor into the company. Referrer name is the person who referred you to me, and as the leader, I can't allow you to name me or our leadership staff as your sponsor, and here's why. First, our leadership team is ethically bound to honor referrals sent to us. Second, let's imagine 6 months from now, you work to establish a relationship with somebody who's not with us and you refer them to me to join the company. You then find out that they named me as their sponsor. How are you going to feel about me as a leader whose job it is to help build our company and your wealth? Exactly. So let's go ahead and initiate a sponsorship change and have you put down the person you feel was most instrumental in facilitating your meeting with me. When market center leadership shows up like this, they will create an environment of consistent referrals. In our model, it pays to do the right thing. Remember, sponsorship is earned. When you do everything else well, sponsorship becomes a natural conclusion to following our process. Chapter 7, Final Thoughts. If you made it this far into the book, I want to say congratulations. You now have the keys to unlocking the secret process to consistently sponsoring 15 to 150 people a year into Keller Williams without cold calling or sacrificing your real estate business. As we wrap up this book, I want to leave you with one final thought. You are standing at the doorstep of an extraordinary opportunity. Over the last few chapters, you've learned exactly how to leverage profit share to build a scalable passive income stream. You now understand the core principles, the systems, and the strategies that allow you to sponsor anywhere from 15 to 150 agents a year without cold calling, without sacrificing your real estate business. But knowledge alone won't change your future. Action will. Success in profit share comes down to one simple choice. There are two types of agents who finish this book. The first group sees the potential, gets inspired, and then lets the opportunity slip away, falling back into the day-to-day routine of real estate sales. The second group makes a decision. They commit to this process. They take that first step, whether it's launching their profit share site, running their first job ad, or scheduling their first recruiting call. This book is not just about learning how profit share works, it's about doing something with that knowledge. So here are your next steps. If you take nothing else from this book, remember this. Profit share is a long game. Every agent you sponsor is a seed planted. Some will sprout quickly, others will take time, some will drop off. But over the years, with consistency, your downline can grow from a powerful financial asset, one that pays you month after month, year after year, long after your last real estate transaction. So here's what I encourage you to do next. Decide how many agents you want to sponsor in the next 12 months. Don't leave it to chance. Set a goal and work towards achieving it. Launch your profit share site and start generating leads. The system is already built for you. Your job is to just plug in and execute. Follow the proven process. Drive traffic. Let automations do the heavy lifting. Hold recruiting calls and refer agents to market centers. The more you trust in the process, the faster your results will come. Stay plugged into the community. Success leaves clues. Learn from others who are using the system and implementing it at a high level. A legacy worth building. Many years from now, when you look back on your career, will you be grateful that you took full advantage of the opportunity in front of you? Or will you wonder why you didn't start sooner? I know which answer I want for you. Profit share has changed my life. It has changed my family's life. And now you have the chance to write your own success story. So go build your downline. Go create financial freedom. Go leave a legacy worth remembering, because this opportunity is yours. The only question left is, will you take it? As Linda always says, don't walk over dollars to get to dimes. Chapter 8, the unexpected opportunity in front of you. You now know the profit share advantage, but it is important that you understand this opportunity isn't static. Since we launched profit share sites, other opportunities for passive income have arisen, and we'd like to share one of those with you. We've compiled a bonus chapter covering the unexpected opportunities we are seeing within our profit share sites community. Visit profitsharebook.com or scan the QR code to download this exclusive chapter. Because the strategy and tactics are dynamic, we'll keep you updated as we expand this bonus chapter as well. If you are a Keller Williams Market Center leader, then this next chapter is for you. Stay tuned next week as we dive into profit share sites for Market Center leaders and Market Center sites.
All right, we're back after a great reading of chapter 5. Andy, good job. So
6.
let's... God. Bloopers.
It's actually 6, 7, and 8.
Okay. All right, Andy, good job on helping us read chapters 6, 7, and 8 today specifically. Yeah, 6, 7. Wow, that was a good joke. My kids would be proud. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, I want to dive into chapter 6 specifically, kind of in our recap, because to be honest with you, well, first let's acknowledge this, kind of a bittersweet moment, right? We're getting to the end of the book, and Andy's been such a beautiful narrator. And so we're, I hope you've found great value in going through this book with us, because honestly, I love revisiting it. I love getting to honestly just have, it's like layered learning, John Maxwell tells us, right? The first time you read something or hear something, and then you're going to come back later and revisit it. So I hope you'll re-listen to these episodes, and specifically, I want you to re-listen to this episode, focusing on the part about chapter 6. And the reason is because where I see people mess up in the process is in the handoff to a market center. And so here's a statement, I think we made it in the book, I'm going to reiterate. The relationship with the leader is as important as the relationship with the recruit. So how you do that handoff correctly matters a lot. So make sure you really pay attention in this chapter to what we outlined as the best practices, because communicating over a phone call with a team leader or the person who's going to talk to your recruit is vital. Making a text introduction and potentially an email introduction to the recruit and the market center leader together in a group text or a group email is vital. There's these, again, don't miss the little things in this chapter, because they're not little things to your results. They will equal to a much better outcome if you'll follow what we've learned the hard way, which is some things work and some things don't work. So just follow the process.
Yeah, and if I can jump in with a few things that I have observed through my own work in the system, the text or email, I always do it that way. That means there's a track record. Who did I hand them off to? What was said, all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Additionally, I know in the last chapter we talked about sponsorship, and I'd like to just reiterate that this is the part where I personally tend to ask for sponsorship. I tend to do it after I've made the handoff, and then I will reiterate that again when and around when I know they're having that call, the first call or the first in-person meeting. I'll follow up, and I'll actually do that digitally as well, so I have a track record and digital copy of them saying oh yeah, I would be glad to name you a sponsor.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Andy, one of the things that's it maybe seems little, but it's actually pretty big, is finding market center leaders' contact information. So we like to say this is sort of a moving target, especially as KW continues to evolve its tech. So in the past, we use white pages on MyKW, and since filming of this, that has started transitioning as they're moving away from MyKW, and they're moving really everything into Command. So with that being said, Andy, will you talk a little bit about what you're doing since you've been actively using it? How are you finding market center leaders' contact info?
Yeah. So, It's kind of interesting. I started out with using white pages and going really like deep into using that to find information. But then I found that there's like a great resource called locations.kw.com. And it literally allows you to look and figure out geographically. It puts it on a map where all the KW offices are. So I actually start there. And I even started there back when we had white pages. I find the location that is closest to where my recruit is. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's actually multiple. The other thing I'll mention is I don't do any outreach to any of these places. I don't really pull in any information at all about them. I literally have locations.kw.com up, zeroed in on where they have said they are located geographically. Because I'll give you an example of something that happened. I was talking to a recruit, and this was actually the lone person that I've sponsored into the company through K-Score, who had mentioned K-Score. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to connect him to the company and all of that. And he came to me from Michigan. And I said, great, are you close to this market center or this market center? And he's like, no, I want to get licensed in New York. I'm moving to New York as soon as I pass the classes and stuff. And so I connected him to a market center in New York, and he went through K-Score there. Once he got licensed, he moved to New York. And so having that conversation during the recruiting call can be illuminating. The second thing is I'll use that call to figure out where they are in that zip code and which market center they prefer to be in. And sometimes they don't have a preference, and then it's just a matter of like, who can I connect with first?
Yeah. It's good.
So what I tend to do is I'll use locations.kw.com. I'll reach out to that market center, because the other thing I know is team leaders aren't always the person who's going to talk to new licensed agents. Sometimes it's the ATL, sometimes it's the DAS, the Director of Agent Services, Director of First Impressions. They might have a different role who focuses in on those types of recruits. And so I'll actually call the main office number and try to get the information from them. I never hand off my recruits' information to that person. I always actually have a phone call with the most appropriate person at that market center to hand them off to, saying, hey, my name is Andy. I'm with the market center in Denton, Texas. I have a recruit I'd love to sponsor into the company. So that's another key thing that I do, is I actually use sponsorship language when I'm talking to that leader, because then that puts in their mind, he's thinking profit share. I need to make sure that I follow KW's best practices here.
Yeah, it's so good, Andy. Andy, you're such a good student, man. You've listened. You write the content. You've listened. I love it, because you're the things you said in there, where you use sponsorship language with leadership. I think that's so important. Mm-hmm. You also talked about you don't just text your recruit's info to a leader. You actually get on a phone call, which again, going back to the little things add up to the big things. Yeah. I have seen many people do that, where when I find out where their hole is, it's that they're just texting recruits to a market center. These people don't know you. These leaders do not know who you are, and they have 100 things going on. You have to be human to them, right? Because you got to be top of mind to them. So just texting a lead is the lowest form, other than sending a carrier pigeon, to get their attention, right? So don't do that. Do what Andy says. Pick up the phone, have a phone call.
You also mentioned earlier that your relationship with the KW Market Center leader is as important as your relationship with the recruit. And that leads me to something else that you said, which was that this is a place that people often do a little bit incorrectly that don't allow them to produce the results. And so one area that I think is kind of where the gold is, right, in this entire process. It can be a few weeks after you do the handoff. It could be a month after the handoff where that recruit actually is ready to join. And so follow-up is critical during that time frame in between. Remember, it's 10, 80, 10. That last 10%, there is work that you got to put in there. And that is having continued contact with your recruit and with your market center leader. The way that I do this is I will actually book a time block. I've got a Wednesday time block, tail end of the day after I finish my work, where I actually will shoot off little text messages to my recruits. I'll shoot text messages to my market center leaders to check in on how things are going. I will make updates in the system. Sometimes I'll shoot an email over to them if they're more responsive by email, or actually place a phone call to my market center leaders and my recruits. So that follow-up is important.
I think just using the system, inside the system's a pipeline. And so having them in a pipeline in stages that you know who's in your follow-up stages, and then having a time block, like you said, to actually follow up with them. So those are, again, what I love about this is it's no different than selling real estate. You should follow up after a listing appointment. You should follow up after a buyer consultation, right? Like, are they actually going to sign with you or not? You don't want to let too much time go by. Otherwise, your chance of getting them in your downline just continues to decrease, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I love it. Well, it's exciting. Andy, is next week our last one in the series?
It is. And we're looking to talk to leaders, market center leaders now, and some ideas around the platform for leaders and so forth. I think you prefaced that nicely in the introduction.
Awesome. So good. Well, thank you for those who've been listening in. To all of our agents out there who've been listening, you're more than welcome to listen to next week's episode. I encourage you to listen to it. And thank you for what you do, leaders and agents. We're so excited to help you continue to build wealth and change lives. So with that being said, we'll see you on next week's episode.